Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to take a whole stack of sources, articles, research, bits of info, and basically pull out the most interesting, the most surprising stuff just for you.
Exactly.
Today, we're really diving into the life of Racquel Darrian. She was such a major figure in the adult entertainment world, and her story is, well, it's complicated.
It really is.
Our goal is kind of peel back the layers, get past the public image and see what the real story might be.
And our mission, for you listening, is to give you that clear picture without you having to wade through everything yourself.
Yeah.
We've got biographies, academic pieces, even TV listings, Wikipedia, a YouTube transcript. Quite a mix.
A real deep dive.
We're aiming to just distill the key facts, the surprising bits, so you get a solid understanding of her journey.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because her public life and private self were just so tangled up. We're going to touch on some things about her start, her career moves, and then, how she eventually stepped away.
Definitely some surprising turns.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's unpack this, right? So the basics first. Her real name, Kelly Jackson.
Yeah, Kelly Jackson, though sometimes you see Kelly M. Jackson or Kelly Ray Jackson used too.
Okay. And she was born in Hutchinson, Kansas, July 21st, 1968. But here's a little wrinkle right off the bat. Some sources from just a few years ago, like 2021, said she was 53.
Right.
But if you do the math from 68, well, that would make her 57 now, wouldn't it?
Exactly. That little age discrepancy is interesting, shows how facts can get a bit fuzzy in public records.
True.
But a really key thing, I think, is that she moved to California when she was only 7.
7? Wow, that's young.
Yeah, and moving from Kansas to California at that age, well, that's a huge shift. It probably opened up a completely different world, different paths than she might have had otherwise.
Yeah, I can imagine. Set her apart.
Definitely. And, while we're on the details, sources vary a bit on things like her height. You see 5'8", 5'6", even 5'4" listed. Same with weight, 118 pounds, 117, 121. Even eye color, gray, hazel, brown, green.
Yep.
It varies.
But her measurements are consistent.
Yep, the 36, 24, 32, that seems to be pretty consistent across the board. Almost like that was the fixed part of the brand, maybe.
That's a really interesting point about crafting an image. So, okay, before the films, how did she actually get into the industry? I wasn't straight into movies, right?
No, not at all. And that's important. Her first steps were actually doing nude layouts for magazines.
Yeah, okay. Like which ones?
Oh, Penthouse, Playboy, Hustler, Beaver Hunt, Velvet, Cherry. Quite a few big names.
Right.
She was even the Penthouse Pet of the Month in October 1990. And interestingly, she used her real name for that, Kelly Jackson.
Under her real name, wow. And Playboy, too.
Yep. She was in a Playboy pictorial in 96 called Strippers.
Now, what's really surprising, given where her career went, is that apparently she started out mainly doing all-girl scenes.
That's what the sources say, yeah. Initially, she was reportedly uncomfortable working with men.
What does that tell us, about her choices early on, and how maybe she felt about things evolving?
I think it's a really critical point. It suggests her journey wasn't just about career steps, but also about, personal comfort levels changing, boundaries maybe shifting.
Right.
It implies that even in that industry, people start with their own limits. Focusing on all-girl scenes might have been a way to ease into being on camera before doing more intimate work.
A cautious start, perhaps?
Possibly. It really sets up this narrative of, negotiating between her private self and the demands of the job, and how her comfort zone changed or was pushed over time.
That gives a lot more depth to it. Okay, so speaking of evolving, she then moves from magazines into films. How did that transition happen? Any interesting changes then?
Yeah, so the move into film happens. There's a tiny discrepancy in the very first one. Was it Joined or Warm Bodies, Hot Nights? Sources differ slightly.
Okay.
But the really key thing here is the name change. For quite a while, she used Racquel Darrian for her film work.
Ah, the stage name.
Exactly. While still using Kelly Jackson, her real name, for the magazine modeling.
So keeping those identities separate.
Yeah.
Smart.
Seems like a strategic move, yeah.
Yeah.
A different public face for different parts of her work.
And this is where things really took off for her, right? Signing with Vivid Video.
Oh, absolutely. That Vivid contract was massive. That's where she hit that megastar status. They called her the Vivid Queen.
Vivid Queen, okay.
Roughly half of all her films were big productions for Vivid. Things like Raquel in the Wild, Original Sin, the Bonnie and Clyde series. Those were huge for her.
Right, I remember those.
And outside of Vivid, the film Desire, directed by Andrew Blake, that's often mentioned as her most acclaimed non-Vivid film.
Her output was just huge. We're talking, what, around 100 films between the late 80s and 1999?
About that, yeah. roughly 88 or 89 through 99.
And tons of magazine shoots, too. Sources say anywhere from 20 to over 120.
The numbers vary, but yeah, a massive number of shoots between 88 and 2000 as well.
That's an incredible amount of work in just over a decade. What does that tell you about the industry, then, or the pressure on someone like her?
It really speaks volumes, doesn't it? About the intensity back then. It wasn't just about showing up to film. It was constant creation for different outlets to stay visible.
Keep the brand going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The industry was booming, always needing new content, and the top stars were under, well, immense pressure to just keep producing. It also shows her drive, or maybe the powerful financial reasons, to keep up that pace.
And she had another way of connecting with fans, too, right? Not just through the films and photos.
Yeah, that's quite unique. She had this column in Velvet magazine, Dear Racquel, or sometimes Ask Racquel.
Yeah, like an advice column?
Sort of, yeah. Sharing insights, experiences. And get this, for a really surprising detail, she apparently confessed in one column to being, quote, insatiable and needing
what?
Requiring the services of a local football team to satisfy her urges.
Wow. Okay. That's bold.
Right. It's very candid, but it also highlights how personas are constructed in that world. How much is real, how much is performance for the fans. It blurs those lines.
Definitely playing up a certain image there.
And it shows the kind of extreme stories that were part of the landscape back then.
Well, that persona and her work certainly got noticed. She got some major recognition, didn't she? AVN Hall of Fame.
Yes, inducted in 2002, which, for anyone listening who doesn't know, is basically the industry's lifetime achievement honor, a huge deal.
And awards before that, too?
Yep, she won the 1993 AVN Award for Best Tease Performance for Bonnie and Clyde.
Ah, Bonnie and Clyde again.
Yeah, those are like the Oscars of the industry. And she got nominated again in 2000 for Best Actress. So definitely recognized for her work.
Okay, let's shift a bit to her personal life, which, as you said, was pretty intertwined with her career. She married Derek Lane in '94, another performer.
Yes, Derek Lane, also an adult film star. They got married in 1994, and they had a daughter, Brooke, born around June or July of 1997.
Right.
And their on-screen dynamic is really interesting because initially a big part of her popularity was that she was known for, quote, sticking only to one man on screen, Derek Lane.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That was part of her brand.
A huge part. It made her really popular with a certain audience. But sources say that eventually she got tired of only working with him. She insisted on working with other male performers, and apparently that was a major factor leading to their divorce in 2000.
So the very thing that maybe boosted her image early on became a point of conflict later.
Exactly. It's a powerful example of how her public image tied to her husband might have clashed with her own, personal or professional desires later on. Her evolution kind of demanded a shift in that narrative.
Makes sense. And there's another layer here too, right? About her off-screen relationships.
Yes. Sources mention she had openly gay relationships off-screen with other performers, specifically Savannah and Felicia.
Right. Which is really interesting when you think back to what you said earlier.
About her initial discomfort with all-girl scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
It absolutely connects back to that. These later relationships, especially being open about them with industry colleagues, they stand in pretty sharp contrast to that reported early discomfort.
Suggests quite a personal journey.
I think so. A journey of self-discovery, maybe acceptance, perhaps separate from her on-screen work, or maybe even influenced by it in some ways. It just shows how complex identity is and how people change, even when their life is under such a microscope.
That's a really compelling thread through her whole story. So after this incredibly high-profile career, things ended quite suddenly with Vivid, didn't they? She was fired in '99.
Yes, he was quite abrupt. The reported reason was related to substance issues on set.
Okay.
And that seems to have kicked off a really difficult period for her. Sources describe it as a tumultuous phase.
Tumultuous how?
Well, there are mentions of negative reviews popping up on escort websites, rumors about private parties, some allegedly filmed by Derek Lane, her husband at the time, and leaked online.
Oh, wow. That sounds incredibly rough. A really public fallout.
He paints a picture of a very challenging transition, yeah. Private struggles may be spilling into the public eye in really difficult ways.
So after that departure from film, what did she do? Did she just vanish?
Not immediately, no. For a while after her film career ended, she worked as a feature dancer.
Like stripping in clubs.
Exactly. Feature dancing at clubs across the country. She was based in Las Vegas during that time. So she stayed connected to performing, just in a different way.
Right, a different part of the industry. And then connecting that to the bigger picture, Where did things go from there? What's the trajectory after the dancing?
Well, that seems to mark another major shift. According to some sources, over the last, say, 20 years or so, she has essentially left the industry in all its forms behind.
Completely out.
That's the picture painted. She's reportedly living a quiet life now, apparently has her own business, but keeps it very much under wraps. So it really signifies this complete change, this stepping away from the spotlight entirely. A deliberate move towards privacy, it seems. A final major transformation.
What a story. Just really extraordinary. From that small town in Kansas, Kelly Jackson becomes Racquel Darrian, this absolute icon of adult film.
A brunette goddess, as some call her.
Oh, yeah. Navigates all these intense changes, personal, professional, the relationship complexities, the awards, the difficult exit, and then finds this quiet life afterwards.
Her story really does underscore just how complex identity can be, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the sheer pressure of living under that kind of public gaze.
Absolutely.
But it also shows this capacity for change, for transformation, how people can redefine themselves, find different paths, and sort of reclaim their own narrative, even after being so incredibly visible.
So it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What does Racquel Darrian's journey really tell us about the echoes of a career lived so publicly? And about, the power we have to shape our own story, even when everyone else has been watching and judging and consuming it. Something for you to think about as you continue your own deep dives.